This tour is based on the young adult novel titled Number the Stars by Lois Lowry. For a point of reference, we're going to start here in our native Northwest Arkansas before we travel abroad to Copenhagen, where Anne Marie's story begins. And now we're traveling east over to Denmark, specifically the town of Copenhagen. All right, we'll begin here in Copenhagen. This is the town in Denmark where Anne Marie and her family live in an apartment building. It's assumed that the apartment building is in the populated city center and not in a rural area. We do know that her best friend Ellen and her family live in the same apartment building. And we know that it's close enough in town because they're able to walk to and from school each day. So this is a picture of a typical Copenhagen apartment building in the 1950s, which is about 10 to 15 years before the story takes place. If you'll remember in Chapter 2, when Ellen and Anne Marie are playing dolls, they mention going to Tivoli or to the Tivoli Gardens. Here is a picture of the Tivoli Gardens. It covers about 20 acres of the city of Copenhagen, and at one point it was actually closed down, and part of it was burned down by German soldiers. So from Copenhagen, once the Anne Marie's family realizes that Ellen must be saved and taken out of Denmark, the mother makes Anne Marie's mother decides to make a trip to Gilleleje, Denmark, where her brother lives. So we will travel across there. So basically we're going from one end of Denmark to the other, one coast to the other. And that is this coastal town here. And it's assumed that Uncle Henrik's house is approximately in this area, as it is located by the coast, since he is makes a living as a fisherman. So this is a picture actually from a window that is in that town, and if you look across the skyline, you should be able to see Sweden. This view actually comes from a church attic. So after they make it here, they stay for a few days at Uncle Henrik's house, right here. This is not necessarily the exact location. It's just a speculation of the location right here where his house is. But we do know that he lives within walking distance to the boat docks because he docks his fishing boat every night. So we can zoom in a bit closer and see the boat dock. While this area looks heavily populated, it is assumed that in the early 1900s it was not so developed. So here's the boat dock. From this boat dock, In chapter 7, we learn that Ellen Rosen and her mother and father meet back up at Uncle Henrik's house and then go through the woods with Uncle Henrik to the boat where they go across the waters to Sweden, where they will be free. So we'll zoom out a bit more. The family travels across these waters. Just across to neighboring Sweden. And this is not necessarily the exact place where they travel to here. It's just a marker that I have picked out. So Ellen, in this novel, we learn that Ellen and her family arrived safely in Sweden. In the afterword, it stated that almost 7,000 Jews actually took this trip that in the fictional Anne-Marie Rosen and her family took. Many Jews were smuggled into Sweden following this exact same route. Here I have clicked for you the forward from the book, and here there are actually a couple of other links that give a little bit more historical background and information about many of the Jews' escape out of Denmark into Sweden before German soldiers decided to take over the area or before they were sent to concentration camps. So to give us a bit more insight, we're going to go ahead and listen to this video from